All right. All right, everybody. Stand by. We're on commercial break. I had to refresh the broadcast. Stand by. We're on commercial break. We're talking about the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We know his 135th day was August 17th. And the 64th Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League International Convention is coming up here in Detroit this week. So when we come back from the break, we're going to hear some more, talk some more with Omari Osei, who is the second vice president of the UNIA Division 407, to talk about the conference. Okay. We're on commercial break. Stand by. Back from break in 2 minutes. Stand by. Okay, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. Back from break in 1 minute. Welcome back to the African History Network show, right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. All right. On the line, we're speaking with Omari Osei, who is the second vice president of the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association, Division 404. That's the Detroit chapter. And we're talking some about Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We know his birthday was we commemorated that August 17th. And also the 64th annual convention, UNIA and ACL, African Communities League convention, is coming. The international convention is coming up this week here in Detroit. So, Omari, give people the dates of the conference, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael Imhotep. Okay, the convention begins next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, August 23rd. We have a mass meeting with the President General of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, our our Black government, the Honorable Michael R. Duncan. It will be at the Coleman Young International Airport at 11499 Connor between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then also we have on Wednesday our panel discussion, where we have invited a variety of leaders from different religious organizations who are also aware of the need of our nation to support and focus on our issues that concern us. So The panel discussion will be Wednesday, August 24th at the Barack Obama Academy, which before was Barack Obama Academy, it was Timbuktu Academy.
Right.
At 10800 East Canfield, Michigan, from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. Next on our itinerary for our convention, where the public is welcome, is at the museum. We're having a tour of the museum, the Charles H. Wright Museum. That's on Thursday, August 25th at 315 East Warren, Detroit, Michigan. And this is from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And you don't want to miss our gala. We have our red, black, and green gala. It's going to be good food, good music, presentations. You don't want to miss it. The gala, the red, black, and green gala, come with your red, black, and green, smelling good and looking good. And that is on a Friday, August 26th at Complex Banquet Hall, 3800 Pearson, Detroit, Michigan, from 7 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Now we conclude our 64th International Convention by celebrating with the parade. The parade is with Maafa Live, and that will be Saturday, August 27th at St. John and Mac Avenue. This is family service day, so it'll be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, you can call area code 313-739-4212. Again, 313-739-4212 or 313-728-4542. Again, 313-728-4542 for information regarding the convention. And if you have a desire or a need to do vending, if you're interested in vending, call area code 248-508-3523. Again, area code 248-508-3523 for vending. And also call 313-769-8647 if you can't get through to the 248 number. Call area code, again, 313-769-8647 if you're interested in vending.
Absolutely.
Come join us
Go ahead.
at our 64th International Convention.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Explain to people African Communities League, because this is the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League. Explain the ACL part, the African Communities League, because oftentimes when people talk about Marcus Garvey and the UNIA, they leave off the ACL. So explain the significance of the African Communities League.
Yeah, so the portion of the African Communities League is the portion of the UNIA that deals with the Black Cross nurses, women that was established within the government to take care of the health concerns, psychological, physical, anything regarding the health of the nation. The Black Cross nurses were under the umbrella of the African Communities League to provide the assistance to the nation. Also under the umbrella of the African Communities League, you have the military of the UNIA that has to be revived. So those were the major functions of the African Communities League of the Universal Negro Improvement Association.
Now, at the convention in 1920, they, I think it was the convention in 1920. Yeah, they adopted the what we call the Pan-African flag, or the bandera, the red, black, and green flag. Explain the significance of that flag. If I remember correctly, that convention was August 13th, 1920. Explain to people the significance of that flag.
Thank you very much. And that's also the keynote speech of the President General will also go into depth in dealing with the red, black, and green flag. So you don't want to miss the mass meeting. However, the red, black, and green flag became a necessity because it came to us at a time when we were being taunted as a nation of people by this infrastructure here in the United States and white supremacy. We were being taunted for not having a flag that represented and gave our best interest and gave us justice. So the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey set out to give us a flag.
Right. Right.
Okay. And the red
okay,
is for the blood.
Hold it right there. Hold it right there. We're coming up on a break. We'll hold you over for a few more minutes. Stand by, Omari. You listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep, 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, the Future Radio. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. All right, everybody, shut this broadcasting on social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. Stand by. Back from break in 3 minutes. Back from break in 2 minutes. Stand by. All right. How's everybody doing watching on Facebook and YouTube? We're having some technical difficulties tonight, but we're working through it. All right. Okay, back from break in 1 minute. Stand by, everybody. Come back from break.
Nine 10 a.m. Superstation, a division of Adele Media. The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 a.m. Superstation or Adele Media.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 a.m. the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Imhotep. All right, right before the break, we were speaking with Omari Osei, who's with the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association. He's second vice president of Division 407. And he was teaching us about Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We just commemorated Marcus Garvey's birthday, August 17th. He was born in 1887. And we were talking about some of the history of Marcus Garvey and the UNIA, and as well as the 64th annual international conference that's coming up in Detroit, also coming up this week in Detroit. Okay, so let's bring them back on. All right, so go ahead and finish your thought, Omari. You were explaining to us the red, black, and green flag. This was adopted at the International Convention in 1920 by the UNIA. This is where this red, black, and green flag comes from. You explaining to us the significance of the red, black, and green flag, or the bandera.
Thank you very much, Michael and Imhotep, for having me. In the words of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, nationhood is the only means by which modern civilization can completely protect itself. Independence of nationality, independence of government is the means of protecting not only the individual, but the group. Nationhood is the highest idea of all people. So what the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey did for us here in America is he reintroduced us to nationhood. And with the reintroduction of nationhood, you have to have a flag that represents your nation.
Mm-hmm.
If you're being treated unjust by your nation that you're existing in, human right to organize yourself and to governance, self-governance. That's why he said we of the Negro race are moving from one state of organization to another. And we shall so continue until we have thoroughly lifted ourselves into the organization of government. So we had to have a flag that represented our nation. So they came up with the red, black, and green flag, red symbolizing the color of our blood, black symbolizing the color of our skin, and the green is indicative and symbolizing the land.
Right.
So we thank the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and those who convened at that convention to give us a beautiful flag that when I come into contact with people who may bear the colors, oftentimes they don't even know that the organization still exists.
Right.
So we have work to do. So I thank you so much, Michael Imhotep, for having me on your show to promote and to share with the audience the organization that's a historic organization that have not stopped organizing and struggling to become a nation with land, a nation that have everything that every other self-respecting nation has. And we will continue to struggle, and we will continue to press, and we will continue to fight until we establish ourselves into self-governance.
Right. Yeah. There's a good article, and I know you have to run here, and we've got other topics to get to as well. But there's a good article that I reference and I use in my lectures. It's called "On Flag Day: Remembering the Red, Black, and Green." It's from NPR.org, National Public Radio. It came out June 14th, 2017, written by Leah Danella. On Flag Day. Flag Day is June 14th, and that's dealing with the American flag. This Flag Day, that's the day that the red, white, and blue flag, the stars and stripes, that's the day it was adopted, June 14th. But on Flag Day, remembering the red, black, and green, and it deals with the origins of the red, black, and green flag, the bandera, the Pan-African flag. It says the Pan-African flag, also called the Marcus Garvey UNIA Afro-American or Black Liberation flag, was designed to represent people of the African diaspora, and as one scholar put it, to symbolize "quote unquote" Black freedom. Simple, to symbolize "quote unquote" Black freedom. And one of the things they talk about in the article, they cite historian Robert Hill, who's a historian and scholar on Marcus Garvey. And he says that Garvey thought of a flag as a necessary symbol of political maturity, maturity. And he said, quote, "The fact that the Black race did not have a flag was considered by Marcus Garvey." And he said this, it was a mark of the political impotence of the Black race, okay, for not having a flag. He went on to say, quote, and so acquiring a flag would be proof that the black race had politically come of age, end quote. So I encourage people to check out that article as well to get some more background information. And is there a website with the information on it for the conference?
No, we haven't established no website for it.
Okay. All right.
I did send you the
yeah, I got the flyer.
The flyer.
Yeah, I've got the flyer, and we have the flyer up here on the screen right now. We'll put the flyer on our website of TheAHNHistoryNetwork.com, TheAHNHistoryNetwork.com. We'll put the flyer up on the homepage of our website as well with the contact information. All right. So, and then also there's a good article that I reference as well. This is from AtlantaBlackStar.com. Even people who Garvey or people, even some people who disagreed with Garvey were still influenced by him. One of them is Dr. W.B. Du Bois. But there's a good article from AtlantaBlackStar.com from March 14th, 2014. It's called 10 Leaders You May Not Have Known Were Influenced by Marcus Garvey. 10 leaders you may not have known were influenced by Marcus Garvey. They're talking about African-American leaders. We know Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was influenced by Marcus Garvey. Okay. And when he went to Ghana, he went to go visit the site of Garvey's, the site of Garvey's grave, I think it was there that he went. When in 1957, when Dr. King went to Ghana to celebrate Ghana's independence, he would go every year on the anniversary of Ghana's independence as well. As I say, during the trip to Jamaica in 1965, Dr. King and Coretta Scott King visited a shrine of Garvey, visited a shrine dedicated to Garvey at his grave. But when in 1957, when Dr. King went to Ghana for the commemoration of Ghana winning their independence, every year on that anniversary, he would go back to Ghana also, okay? Because Dr. King kept abreast of the developments of the Black liberation movement, the African liberation movement on the continent of Africa also. But they talk about how Dr. King, during a trip to Jamaica on June 20th, 1965, civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife Coretta Scott King made it a point to visit the shrine of Garvey, where they laid a wreath on his grave. In a speech, Dr. King told the audience that Marcus Garvey was the first man of color to lead and develop a mass movement. He was the first man on a mass scale and level to give millions of Negroes a sense of dignity and destiny. Millions of Negroes a sense of dignity and destiny, and make the Negro feel he was somebody. That's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They won't teach you that on Dr. King Day usually, but
exactly. That's what we need. We need that to be aired all over the world.
Absolutely. All right, brother Omari, I know you have to run. Thanks for coming on tonight, man, and we'll see you this week. Okay.
Yep. Africa for the Africans. One God, one aim, one destiny. Race first. Thank you, Michael Imhotep, for having me.
Ashe. All right,
brother. See y'all at the 54th annual convention.
All right, brother. All right, take care. Have a good day. Peace.
Thank you, baby.
All right, everybody. That was Omari Osei of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, talking about the 64th annual Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League International Convention taking place here in Detroit, Tuesday, August 23rd through Saturday, August 27th. All right. I want to go back to our lead story, and we're having some technical difficulties tonight with the audio. I want to go back to our lead story. There was a huge article from the New York Times, August 18th and 19th, that dealt with a topic we've talked about here a number of times, especially in the past 2 years. This deals with discrimination against African Americans when it comes to home appraisals, the values of homes, and this also is related. This is okay. What are we doing? This is also related to. Are we still connected, Giovanni? This is also related to the racial wealth gap and a lack of intergenerational wealth. Okay. I heard it sound like we were connecting to Skype. Giovanni, are we still connected? Okay. So name of this article: Home appraised with a black owner, $472,000. With a white owner, $750,000. Okay, I want to go back to this. Also, CNN has a really good piece on this also. So Dr. Nathan Connolly and his wife Shani Mott are homeowners in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, Dr. Nathan Connolly is a history professor at Johns Hopkins University. And after making improvements to the home and after getting a appraisal the first time for $472,000, they decided to have a white male colleague of his, who's another professor at Johns Hopkins University, sit in for him and pretend to be the homeowner. And they made the home look like white people live there, put up white pictures, things like this. Took down the copy of Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization by Tony Browder. He had the copy of Yorugu, an African-centered critique of European cultural thought and behavior by Dr. Maureen Bahani. You can't have that out on the coffee table when the white appraisers come, right? So the second appraiser valued the house at $750,000. So this is about a $300,000 difference. So this past week, Dr. Connolly and Dr. Mott, his wife has a doctorate as well, Dr. Shani Mott, sued Loan Depot, which is based in Foothill Ranch, California, as well as the first appraisal company, which was 2020 Valuations. And they also sued Shane Lanham, Lanham, the owner of 2020 Valuations. Mr. Lanham is the appraiser who conducted the first appraisal. Now, Dr. Nathan Connolly, who's 44 years old, said, "We were clearly aware of appraisal discrimination. We were clearly aware of appraisal discrimination, but to quote, but to be told in so many words, that our presence and the life we've built in our home brings the property value down. It's an absolute gut punch. Now, this is, I've covered a number of different stories like this here on this show. This is one of the reasons why this show is so important, because we don't deal with the gossip and he said, she said, and Pebbles told Cookie what she thought she heard, and all this Simple Simon nonsense. We deal with real substance here. The home appraisal industry, which relies partly on subjective opinions to translate home values into dollars and cents, has faced a firestorm of criticism over the past 2 years. More than 90% of home appraisers are white. More than 97% of home appraisers are white, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And since that's BLS.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics, right? The Labor Department. And since the summer of 2020, when conversations on race and discrimination in America rose to the forefront following the murder of George Floyd, dozens of Black homeowners have alleged discrimination in home valuations they received. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. Listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, stand by, everybody. Share this broadcasting on social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in. You can support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show. We have the information around the homepage of our website. Stand by. You can also register for online classes I teach, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. We did a special session on Friday because I was going to be out of town this weekend, but normally it's on Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Classes on sale $60, regularly $130. Stand by. Bathroom break in 2 minutes. Bathroom break in 1 minute. Stand by. Bathroom break in 1 minute. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. All right, calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. 313-778-7600 if you have a quick question or comment. Okay, so our lead story was this big article that the that the New York Times had this week, came out August 18th. We posted this story on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. If you don't follow us on Facebook, you should. Go ahead and follow us. Turn on live notifications so you know when we go live. Home appraised with a black owner, $472,000, with a white owner, $750,000. Okay. And this is this continues this discussion that we've been having, dealing with fighting against discrimination when it comes to home appraisals. Now, if we look at this here, let me see. Hold on. Okay, if we go back to this article, 97%, more than 97% of home appraisers are white, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And since the summer of 2020, when conversations on race and discrimination in the home valuation, discrimination in America rose to the forefront following the murders of George Floyd, dozens of black homeowners since then have alleged discrimination in the home valuations they received. Dozens of black homeowners homeowners have alleged discrimination in the home valuations they received. Now, some have filed lawsuits, in the Biden-Harris administration in March of 2022 announced a set plan, announced a set of planned reforms to overhaul the appraisal industry and dismantle systemic bias. Now, this is something I've talked about because if you read the 19-page document from whitehouse.gov, and I mentioned this when I was on Roland Martin Unfiltered Friday. I talked about this when I was on Reverend Al Sharpton's show for 2 hours. I think I mentioned this when I was on his show for 2 hours about 3 Wednesdays ago, when I was on Faraji Muhammad's show on the Black Star Media Network, Roland Martin's network. Faraji had me on this show 2 Wednesdays ago. The document is called The Biden-Harris Administration Advances Equity and Opportunity for Black People and Communities Across the Country. The Biden-Harris Administration Advances Equity and Opportunity for Black People and Communities Across the Country. So I know you have these people who call in the radio shows, national radio shows, even call into this station and talk about Biden and Harris haven't done anything for Black people. Now, the question I ask people like that, and they don't call into this show because they know better. They ain't stupid. They're not stupid enough to call in with that type of nonsense because they know they're going to get stopped. And I'm gonna hit them with the facts. The question that I ask people like that is, how did you do the research? What articles did you read? What report did you read? What study did you read? How did you assess the accomplishments of the Biden-Harris administration, what has happened in the past 18 months? How did you research that before you called in the radio shows talking that Simple Simon ass nonsense? Because the evidence is there to prove that you're wrong. So this is one of the things that I'm always perplexed by, because 99 times out of 100, when they call in with that nonsense, I want you to pay attention to something. They never cite sources. They don't cite articles. They don't cite studies. They don't cite fact sheets. They just put out opinions as if it's facts, but they can't back it up. So most of these people won't talk about the measures that the Biden-Harris administration are taking to fight against discrimination when it comes to housing appraisals. Some have filed lawsuits, and the Biden-Harris administration in March of 2022 announced a set of planned reforms to overhaul the appraisal industry and dismantle systemic bias. So the people who say Biden isn't doing anything for Black people, why don't they talk about this? Either one, they don't know it, or two, they don't want you to know it. Now, Dr. Nathan Connolly and Dr. Shani Mott live in the North Baltimore neighborhood of Homeland, Homeland, known for its strong public schools and colonial architecture, which has earned it a place on the National Register of Historic Places. A majority of their neighbors are white. Now, according to their complaint, which was filed in Maryland District Court on Monday, this past Monday, which would have been August 15th, the couple applied to refinance their mortgage with Loan Depot in May of 2021. The lender, Loan Depot, approved a loan at a rate of 2.25%, and according to the complaint, told the couple that their home was likely now worth $550,000 or more. $550,000 or more. To conduct the appraisal, Loan Depot hired 2020 valuations as a subcontractor. Now, Mr. Lanham, who's the owner of 2020 Valuations, conducted the inspection himself on June 14th, 2021. According to the complaint, Dr. Nathan Conley and his wife, Dr. Shani Conley, and their 3 children were home during the visit, and their house was also filled with family photos, children's drawings of figures with dark skin, a poster from the film Black Panther. See, you can't be Wakanda forever when the white appraisers come. Love the film Black Panther. You gotta have Black Panther and you also gotta have the Black Panthers. You can't have a picture up of Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale when the white appraisers come. Huey P. Newton's one of my frat brothers, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. But I'm telling you, when the white appraisers come, it's not a good idea to have the Black Panther Party for self-defense have a picture up there with them with guns when the white appraisers come. It's just don't have the Black Panther, okay, from Wakanda, and don't have the Black Panthers from Oakland, California up when the white appraisers come. Okay, you can do what you want to do. Take them down, put them back up when they leave. I'm just saying, okay. when we're trying to score high on the appraisal list, you need to take it down. Okay, so they had a poster from the film Black Panther and literature by Black authors. Now, Dr. Shani Mott lectures on literature and Africana studies. You got to take down the Terry McMillans. You got to take down the Toni Morrison. You got to take down the James Baldwin. You got to have that. So this is the games people have to play. Okay, you may be able to get away with a book by Dr. No, you can't get away with a book by Dr. King. Where do we go from here? Chaos or Community. You got to have autobiography Malcolm X. Okay, you got all that stuff. You got to put it away. Okay. All right, now let's continue. So, quote, it would have been obvious to anyone visiting the home it would have been obvious to anyone visiting that the home belonged to a Black family, the complaint said. The appraisal came back just $22,000 more than the family had paid for the home, and Loan Depot based its rejection on the couple's application on the low number. Loan Depot based its rejection of the couple's application on the low number. Okay, we'll continue this on the other side of the break. Also, we'll talk about the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice saying that Florida targets African-American voters. We'll discuss that as well. This is the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by. Okay, back from break in 3 minutes. Stand by. Bathroom break in 3 minutes. Stand by. Bathroom break in 1 minute. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 a.m. Superstation Future Radio. Okay, let's go back to this article here quickly. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a quick question or comment. All right, so right before the break, we were talking about this story from the New York Times. Home appraised with a black owner $472,000, with a white owner $750,000. Now, the couple, Dr. Nathan Conley and Dr. Shani Mott, the couple criticized the way that Mr. Lanham, who owned 2020 Valuations, which is the home appraisal company, the couple criticized the way Mr. Lanham came up with his appraisal. Now, home appraisers frequently rely upon the sales comparison approach, in which they weigh real estate against the sale prices of similar nearby homes to determine value. Similar nearby homes to determine value. Now, in Mr. Lanham's appraisal, he selected 3 homes with value ranges from $435,000 to $545,000. 3 homes with values ranging from $435,000 to $545,000. A fourth comparable, or comp as it's called, a fourth comparable, which sold for $650,000, was ultimately not used in his valuation. Now, the first home used, the complaint argues, would be considered a fixer-upper, which the home of Dr. Nathan Conley and Dr. Shani Mott is not. Okay. Now, the second home is outside the boundaries of the homeland neighborhood where they live, amid a majority black census block of homes. Now, the neighborhood that they live in is a predominantly white neighborhood. Okay, so the second home that was the comp or comparable is outside of the boundaries of the homeland neighborhood where they live, and it's amid a majority black census block of homes. In the third home that was used in the comparison, Mr. Lanham, according to the complaint, deducted $50,000 from the comparison amount because Dr. Connolly and Dr. Mott's home faces a busy street. A deduction, the complaint says, that, quote, is excessive and is inconsistent with proper appraisal practices. The complaint says that this deduction of $50,000 because the home faces a busy street is quote is excessive and is inconsistent with proper appraisal practices, end quote. Now, another $20,000 was deducted for the quality of construction, Now, all of the selected comparable homes, the complaint says, were of lower quality than Dr. Conley and Dr. Mott's home, and the appraisal incorrectly stated that their home had not received any updates for 15 years. That's false also. The appraisal also incorrectly, according to them, states that, according to the complaint, states that their home had not received any updates, any improvements for 15 years. Now, according to the complaint, Mr. Lanham, quote, cherry-picked low-value homes as comps, end quote, and by doing so, he, quote, ignored legitimately comparable homes with much higher sales prices, end quote. Now, when reached by phone this past Tuesday, Mr. Lanham declined to comment. Dr. Nathan Conley and Dr. Shani Mott wrote a letter to Christian Jorgensen, a lending officer at Loan Depot, who had been their main point of contact up to that point, challenging the appraisal. So when we get these lowball appraisals, we have to challenge them, because you're dealing this is directly related to the racial wealth gap. This is directly related to a lack of intergenerational wealth. So when we get these low appraisals, we have to challenge them. Now, according to the complaint, the loan officer, Christian Jorgensen, then stopped responding to their calls. Now, Jorgensen did not respond to requests for comment from the New York Times either. Now, several months later, the couple applied for a new loan with Swift Home Loans, which partnered with Rocket Mortgage. This is here in Detroit, Rocket Mortgage, Dan Gilbert. This time they underwent a quote unquote whitewashing experiment. And this is one of the few times when I agree with whitewashing. Removing indications of blackness from their home and replacing them with signifiers that a white family might live there instead. Now, they cleared their bookshelves of works by black authors. Okay. Yeah, because you gotta have your copy. You gotta have your book dealing with the Nat Turner Rebellion. You gotta have your book dealing with the Amistad Slave Revolt. You can't have all that stuff up. You got to put that in somewhere, take it over to a friend's house or something like that. You got to have the Miseducation of the Negro by Dr. Carter G. Woodson. James H. Cone's book, Martin Malcolm in America, A Dream or a Nightmare. You definitely have to have the book by Professor Charles E. Cobb Jr. Let me see. Can I put my hands on it? I think I have it right here in this stack. He was a field secretary for SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, for 5 years in rural Mississippi. And he was organizing African Americans to register to vote in rural Mississippi. Okay. We know Mississippi was the lynching capital of America from 1882 to 1968. Mississippi had 581 lynchings from 1882 to 1968, the most number of lynchings out of any state in the country. Okay. Now, this book right here, if you're trying to whitewash your home to get a higher appraisal, this is one of the very few times I agree with whitewashing. You cannot have this book anywhere on the premises. The name of this book is called This Nonviolent Stuff Will Get You Killed: How Guns Made the Civil Rights Movement Possible. Okay, you can't have this book anywhere on the premises. I'm just trying to tell you. Okay, you can't. I love the book, love Professor Charles E. Cobb Jr. This you can't do that. When the white appraiser comes, you have to have the book. Okay, so Let's go back to let's go back to the article here. And let's go to this one right here. All right. So they went through a whitewashing. All right. They cleared their bookshelves of works by Black authors. They asked white friends to share family photos and place those pictures in frames around the house. On their walls, they hung art bought at IKEA that showed white people. Okay. So so this is understanding the rules of the game. Now, an American flag that was presented to Dr. Shani Mott 10 years ago after the death of her father, who was a Vietnam veteran, was removed from storage, framed, and placed on the mantle. Your posters of Colin Kaepernick, you got to take that down. Your pictures of Malcolm X and Dr. King, your pictures of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, you got to take down. The red, black, and green flag, the bandera, you got to take that down. You can't have that when the white appraiser comes. Okay, I'm just trying to tell you. I'm trying to help you out here. All right. Quote, we had to have a conversation with our kids about why we're pulling down all their drawings, Dr. Nathan Conley said. Quote, it's very humiliating to strip yourself of your own home. It's very humiliating to strip yourself of your own home. All right, now on the day of the second appraisal, they left their home and had the white colleague answer the door. Okay, so he goes to the door like Mr. Belvedere or something like that. All right. On the day of the second appraisal, they had their white colleague answer the door. The second appraiser provided the $750,000 estimate. Now, the homes pulled by the second appraiser were of significantly higher value than those selected by Mr. Lanham, according to the complaint, who owns 2020 Valuation Appraisal Company. The homes pulled by the second appraiser were valued between $749,000 and $785,000. And while Mr. Lanham docked or took away $50,000 or 10% from the comparable homes that were not on a busy road, the second appraiser deducted $15,000 or 2%. The complaint says that the 2% adjustment is consistent with industry standards. The $50,000 adjustment is not. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. Listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, stand by. Stand by, everybody. Back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. Back from break in 3 minutes. Stand by, everybody. this? Back from break in 1 minute. Stand by. Back from break in 1 minute. Welcome back to the African History Network show. All right. In just a minute, Giovanni, we're going to clip number 1. Okay. So just make sure that one's ready. Okay. I want to wrap up with this article here from the New York Times, and this was our lead story. So this deals with, once again, another lawsuit dealing with discrimination when it comes to home appraisal market. All right. Now, for this second appraisal, only deducted $15,000 for the home facing a busy street, whereas the first appraisal they were deducted $50,000. The $15,000 deduction, or 2% of the overall appraisal value, is consistent with industry standards. It's consistent with industry standards. Now, race has long played a role in housing policy in the United States. And African Americans are denied mortgages at a disproportionate rate. Now, the impact of redlining, which is a racist depression era housing policy, continue, and it comes from the Homeowners Loan Corporation, developed about 1934. So comes from the Homeowners Loan Corporation. So redlining was created by the federal government. The impact of redlining, which is a racist depression era housing policy, continues to drive down home values in African American neighborhoods and deprive resources for communities of color, especially African American communities. But Dr. Mott and Dr. Connolly do not live in a Black neighborhood. As I said, they live in a majority white neighborhood. The disparity in their 2 appraisals echoes a lawsuit brought by Tanisha Tate Austin and Paul Austin, a Black couple in California's Bay Area, who have accused an appraiser of lowballing their value by $500,000. We talked about that case here on this show as well. Now, that case said that Mr. Austin is scheduled for mediation, a chance to resolve the matter before heading to court in September 2022. Mr. Austin said, "We're looking to hold people accountable," and that's what you have to do. We're looking to hold people accountable. Now, the Department of Justice made the unusual move in February of 2022, issuing a statement of interest in the Austin case. Okay, the case of Tanisha Tate Austin and her husband Paul Austin. The U.S. Department of Justice, under Attorney General Merrick Garland, not William Barr, but Merrick Garland, made the unusual move in February of 2022 of issuing a statement of interest in the Austin case, underscoring the fact that appraisers who are bound by the Fair Housing Act of 1968 to not discriminate can be held legally liable if they do. Now, Paul Austin said it was a big step for the Biden-Harris administration to say that they want the appraisal industry to be overhauled. Now, why more people are not talking about this, I don't know, especially these Simple Simon ass people. who keep calling to these radio shows saying that the Biden-Harris administration, they're not doing anything for black people. Notice they don't cite sources. They don't cite articles. They don't cite studies. They definitely don't cite this document here that I've talked about numerous times before. And to my knowledge, I'm the only person that's talking about this document, which I really don't understand. I don't think I've heard anybody from the White House talk about this. I haven't heard Tiffany Cross, haven't heard Joanne Reed, haven't heard anybody else. I talked about this on Reverend Al Sharpton's show when I was on. I reference this almost every week on Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'm the only person I've heard talk about this document. I don't even understand that. That makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. All the black people in media ain't heard one person talk about this. The Biden-Harris administration advances equity and opportunity for black people and communities across the country. Now, this was last updated February 28th, 2022. The original one came out October 2021. This has to be updated because there's so much that's happened since February 28th, 2022. Emmett Till anti-lynching bill, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, the Executive Order 13985, the implementation of the 300 strategies across 90 federal agencies to address racism and discrimination, things like this. The releasing of those strategies came after February 28th, 2022. But if we just look here, they talk about home appraisals, okay? Ensuring, let's blow this up for the so I want you to take a screenshot of this. All these dumbasses that call into these shows, or that you know, or that you follow on social media, I want you to screenshot this and show it to them and ask them, why aren't you talking about this? Okay, I find it very strange you're not talking about this. Ensuring black homeowners get full value for their homes. Ensuring black homeowners get full value for their homes. In June 2021, Biden-Harris administration, President Biden directed the launch of a first of its kind interagency effort to address inequity in home appraisals and conduct rulemaking to aggressively combat housing discrimination. Rulemaking to aggressively combat housing discrimination. The effort led by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, better known as HUD. Now that's Secretary Marsha Fudge, former member of the Congressional Black Caucus. The effort led by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Secretary Marsha Fudge, and Domestic Policy Advisor Susan Rice is developing a set of policy actions and recommendations for President Biden to redress racial bias in home appraisals that will soon be released. Okay, and it's been released since then. If I remember correctly, it's been released since February 28th, 2022. Protecting, and then they go on to talk about protecting Black Americans' access to housing by combating housing discrimination. Read this. This is part of this 19-page document that nobody talks about. If you know somebody else that talks about this document besides me and before me, please let me know, because I don't know who they are. This is at whitehouse.gov, official website of the White House. Pretty powerful document, pretty powerful website. So check that out. Read the rest of that article. Those watching on Facebook and YouTube, keep watching for a few minutes more, because we're going to squeeze in the segment from Roland Martin Unfiltered. We're out of time here on 9:10 a.m. Superstation WFDF. We ran into some technical difficulties. Be sure to visit my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and TheAHNShow.com, my new website. You can register for the online history classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays, it is Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. Right now, for limited time only, classes on sale $60, regularly $130. As soon as you register, you can watch the class we just did this past Friday, okay? And we do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. And then on Sundays, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement of Black Power, 1865 to 1968. All right, remember, right now is correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you next week. Peace. deals with the Department of Justice operating in the tradition of why the Department of Justice was founded in 1870 to protect the rights of African Americans. The Department of Justice says Florida Republicans specifically targeted black voters with restrictions. Okay, and let me pull. We're gonna go to this clip here from Lower Martin Unfiltered. Let me pull this up just a second here. Pull it up. And there was an article from theroot.com that dealt with this. And also they picked it up from theguardian.com. Other topics was the interview dealing with the UNIA and Marcus Garvey, and we had some technical difficulties also. Okay, so DOJ says black. Let me see. Let's pull this up here. Okay, can you all hear me? Okay. Somebody said the audio is extra low. Hold on. What the hell is this? All right, 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Stand by. All right, let me test the audio just a second. Okay, can you all hear me okay? All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Can you all hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing.